Hey, Joe here. I'm the custodian at ignitiondiecast.com, but this channel is mostly a video diary of my personal collecting, hijinks, successes, failures. Walk with me now as I open and talk about cars, trucks, and sometimes even action figures. I usually interject some sassy Gen X commentary about the hobby, tales from the toy aisle, and society itself. So be sure to like, subscribe, share, and definitely comment. Your opinion matters. Good morning, dozens of the diecast dimension. Din Djarin here for Ignition Diecast, and it's Slackazz Saturday, but it's not going to be that slack because there's stuff I need to show you and people I need to thank. And I found some cool stuff yesterday, so I want to show you that too, to gloat, make you jealous. So Jeff C. sent in a box of stuff, and it was for the archive or for me to keep or to sell, whatever. He didn't really care. So it's mostly stuff that apparently he didn't care too much about. But there's 5 cars that I have to keep because they bring back a lot of memories. They're stuff that I collect, or they're just like memory fuel. And then there's about 15 or so that are going to the archive. So let me show you some archive stuff that was interesting. I could not identify what this was. I thought, oh, it looks kind of like a Lexus, but there's nothing on the bottom that tells you what car this is. But it's a Lexus LC, and it's officially it came out in the Hot Wheels product line, and there's nothing that says Lexus or LC. I don't think. Did I say that Lexus on the? No, it's Hot Wheels logo. But it did look kind of Lexus-y in the front. I think it's the LC 400. But it's perfect shape. It's beautiful. I'm not going to keep it though. I'm putting it in the archive. And then 2 of these flame stoppers, which, do these not look pink to you? They look pink to me. And the Hot Wheels wiki says it's bright red, but that looks pink to me. And this is the same release, only there's a variant. This one has the biohazard triangle there in the middle, and this one doesn't. Otherwise, it's both from the same year, quite a while ago. I don't remember what year, 92 maybe even older than that. But happy to have these. I'm going to put them both in the Ignition Diecast master set and mark it as having both variants. And then there's 5 that I'm keeping. So first of all, this Dixie Challenger, which has some play damage, some battle damage, but man, this brings back memories. I have a Dixie Challenger with the forbidden flag on the roof, but this one does not. This has what's called a U stripe, and this means, well, this variant was a Leo Hot Wheels, so released in India by the Indian subsidiary of Mattel or whatever to get around import-export laws. So this one is a variant of the Dixie Challenger, and it actually doesn't say anything on the bottom. And it was known as the Dixie Challenger up to a point, and then they started calling it the Dodge Challenger 71, I think, something like that. But there's a lot of these. There's a lot of variants of the Dixie Challenger. Most of the old ones have the forbidden flag on top. And then, of course, this being the Leo version. And then I think once they started calling it a Challenger, they started doing it in different colors. But obviously, this is sort of an homage, quasi General Lee. And this brings back memories for me because my neighbor, when I was 10 years old, Dougie, next door, had a Dixie Challenger, and I did not. And I was a big fan of the Dukes of Hazzard, and I was really jealous. Like, that was the one Hot Wheels that he had that I did not. And back then, in ancient times, you couldn't just go to the store and buy things. Like, I mean, you can't even really do that today, but it's like, I wanted a Dixie Challenger. There was no internet. There was no way to mail order Hot Wheels, no eBay. And it wasn't in the stores anymore, so it was an object of desire. I really wanted Dougie's Dixie Challenger, but he wouldn't trade it. It was his favorite car, so I never did have one until a couple of years ago when I got a vintage one. Here is a custom Corvette, and I'd never seen this one before. It's got like full-blown football gridiron on the trunk. It's from the sports car series, but this particular casting has what's called a Greenwood Phase 2 body kit. So it's a custom, truly is custom, because it has that Greenwood body kit. And there's a variant with a pink interior and this one with the gray interior. So there's two variants of this. But I'm going to keep it. I'm going to throw it up on my Corvette shelf. This is a C4, 4th generation, if I'm not mistaken. But interesting artifact. I've never seen one of these before. I think I have a black one of these from that Target Blacked Out series. A really hot pink Corvette with a ridiculously large engine. Some looks tuned to me. I need to check and see if this is from the tuned series, but that's just crazy. Hot pink, but I'm a Corvette collector, so got to keep it. And another Corvette, but this one is really interesting because it's a high raker, and high rakers were this series where you could pop up the back end. I had an old pickup, like an old Ford pickup in blue when I was a kid that had that, and man, so that feature right there brings back a lot of memories. I don't think I've seen one that works in a while, and this is pretty old. I think this is like an 82 release, so I would have been 12 when this 63 split window came out. And yeah, it's a high raker, so it has a radical stance. Keeping that because it's Corvette. And then this weirdo, a sparkly pink SEL. And at first I thought that must be from the Gleam team, but nope, it's not, because the Gleam team has sort of like a skin, like a glittery skin over it, and this is a true paint job with flakes in it. So really weird, and it's got ultra hot wheels, though it's not an ultra hot release. Just really tacky and amazing, and it's perfect. There's no chips or dings in that wild ass pink paint job. So got to keep that, and goes up there in my Mercedes shelf. So I'm going to keep it short. I showed you the flame stoppers and the Lexus. There's some more cars, but it's all going to the archive, and nothing really. The Chevy Stalker in bright orange with a yellow interior. It does have a nick in it, so it'll go in with a caveat, like a green, but I've never seen one of these either. And this is not a Gleam team. This is just the way it came. Black walls and a weird hot orange gold sparkle paint job. So thank you very much, Jeff. I owe you one. So in another find, I gotta give you a preamble. They say if you're not first, you're last, and there's a lot of wisdom to that. As shitty as it is, if you're the first on scene after an employee does a restock, you get to take your pick of that case. And if you're second, probably all the good stuff's going to be gone, because collectors, resellers, the S word, people just devour all the good cars. And yesterday I was lucky enough to be in a store where they had just put out a case. And I have to say, this store must have employees that are very unaware of the whole Hot Wheels thing, because they just put a Super Treasure Hunt, this one, right in the front. Like when I approached the pegs, they were they were full to the point where the cars were like hanging at this angle, and I was like, oh, that gives me a big dopamine rush, because I know that they put new stuff out, and they usually put this store puts the new stuff in the front, and then as you go back it gets older. But this was hanging right in the front like this, and just like for the world to see. And obviously the employees have no clue that this is sellable. They could probably sell this for as much as they make in a whole shift at that store. So that was weird. And then oddly enough, I found a treasure hunt, the Chevrolator, also in that same restock, which I need. This, the archive needs this one. Actually, both of these are going to go to the archive. And I'm glad to only paid $1 something for them instead of like the 60, 70, 80 for this, and whatever, $10 for this one. I'm always happy when I can feed the master set, the archive, at retail prices. And what else was there? 4 Ferraris. I took them all because I'm reseller scum. And Mercedes F1 car. All that's gone at this point. And then some other ones that, because I'm reseller scum, I buy because I can sell it. So like the Pearl Slate Mercedes, and a couple King Cudas, a couple Vipers, a couple BRZs, and yeah, just it was cool getting there first for once before Kevin. And the last thing I'll say about that though is it was a weird time of day. So like a lot of people have suspicions or like a habit of going to certain stores at certain times because you have this feeling that that's when they restock. I'm now under the impression that the time thing is just out the window, because this was a really weird time of day. And it was just like the employee had the time, so they grabbed the Hot Wheels case and did a restock. And I was lucky enough to stumble upon it. It doesn't happen very often, like maybe 1 in 20, 1 in 25 store visits do you actually get there first. But consistency is the key. If you're looking for the stuff for yourself, or if you're a reseller scum, you gotta stay at it. You gotta stay on the hump. I don't really have a 2 cents. I wanted to keep this video short, but I can tell it's already going long. My 2 cents today is just food for thought. I'm watching this show with my wife. It's called Outrageous, and it's on BritBox, and it's like a period drama from the 30s, the late 30s, before World War II, about like 5 sisters. I can't even remember their last name, but they're famous, and 2 of them are smitten by fascists. Like one of the sisters actually moves to Germany and like snuggles up to Hitler and becomes like this British plaything of his for a while. He never married her, obviously, but they were documented to have like hung out. And the other one stayed in England and was married secretly to the leader of the British Fascist Party. And what I'm gleaning, this isn't meant to be political, it's just kind of like, wow, like a light bulb moment for me. Watching this show, the background that I have, the people that I raised me and stuff, the word fascist was always like a slur, like calling someone like a nasty name. But watching this show, I'm realizing that it's actually like a political point of view. It's like an actual party. There's like fascist parties, and they think that they're in the right and that they have a legitimate political, socio-political platform. So that's all I'm going to say, is that fascism, to a lot of people, particularly the ones who are part of fascist parties, think that it's just the way it is. Like they accept every aspect of it, and they think that that's a cool point of view. So something to think about. Talk to you tomorrow, Sunday. I always remind you what day it is, right? So it's sort of like a watch. Like you can even watch these videos and know what day it is, because half the time I don't know what day it is. So when I say that, I'm saying it to remind myself. So tomorrow is show and tell Sunday. So I'll find something to show you. Later.